So I take it as a great privilege to address this gathering. I am the odd man out. I am the only person representing academics. So it's a great privilege to address this gathering. Let me also thank the organizers of this even Global Logistics Show for giving me this opportunity. As Mayur has rightly said, I'm just going to have a general overview of what is this big data analytics. I think all of you are familiar with this. Just have a general overview, maybe discussing about some of the issues and challenges and how to integrate the processes and so on. I think when you look at big data analytics, I think everybody is familiar with this, and you know that it has become a kind of new innovation which is becoming very, very popular. So when you look at big data, I think a lot of companies want to follow into this hype and leverage on this. But when you look at this, you can also see that everywhere you see big data analytics coming in, you can't see a publication without a mention of this. And both academicians and practitioners, they look at big data in a number of different ways. Academicians want to look at this to understand the society and the world in a better way. And the businesses, they basically try to achieve some competitive success by use of big data analytics. Of course, there is no doubt that ability to capture and aggregate, analyze, and also extract intelligence out of data is becoming a kind of important mandate for any business organization. Of course, we may say that, as Mayur has rightly said, there is nothing new. Big data is just, without analytics, big data is all about massive data, and that's not going to help much. And at the same time, analytics without big data also is simply just maybe statistical analysis or correlation and say regression analysis and simple techniques of that kind, which also has got limited say limited advantages. But the big data along with analytics, when both of them, with the synergy of these two, is something that has the potential to give, say, competitive success to business organization. Again, what is different? People talk about V's, 3 V's, which maybe differentiate big data analytics from simple, say, analytics. We talk about large data, of course, data of the size of exabytes, or even these days people talk about zettabytes and so on. Then the complexity of data in terms of variety and the dimensionality of data. Then, of course, the real-time data that you capture in terms of how fast you're, say, capturing data, the velocity of data. Along with that, one can also add new ways such as maybe veracity, which is basically capturing the accuracy. Then the place in which you collect it, the venue, the vocabulary, the variability. All these things might differentiate big data analytics maybe in a big way. So it also differentiates in a way where it can help us to have new ways of new opportunities for inquiry. So when you look at research, the new ways in which say the questions are asked, that is something which big data has helped us to do. At the same time, it's also the nature of inquiry that is changing, and it is also the changed nature of experimentation. And you know that computers are also participating a lot when you do all this. So some of these observations might be interesting. Of course, supply chains is a maybe inter-organizational process where a number of different processes which are to be integrated, and it captures a lot of data, say data from different sources, whether it is point-of-sale data, whether it is from GPS, or whether RFID, or whether it is IoT or social media. So it can collect or capture a lot of data, and analytics can help to say derive some useful insights out of them. And of course, we have heard of a lot of success stories of big data analytics. But the fact is that, say, though it has become, say, kind of a buzzword or a hype, maybe very few organizations are able to leverage the true potential of big data analytics. Maybe those who are information rich, such as maybe Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, they would have been able to derive much more, say, insights from big data analytics. But many companies are still struggling to know what to do or how to proceed. They may have data, but they do not know what to do with that data and so on. And again, another important observation could be those who are successful in big data. One of the reasons why they are successful is because it is part of their overall strategy. It is not just some excellence that is happening in a particular process or a silo of excellence. So which is part of overall strategic priorities, then I think there is a possibility for that to, say, help you to gain much better results. And that might be one of the reasons why many of the companies are not able to succeed, because there are a lot of excellence happening in big data in a number of different pockets, because now itself we heard in maybe different functional area where the use of big data is being, say, used a lot. But how do we integrate these processes, and how do you, say, achieve superior competitive advantage? That is what I think companies are still struggling. And again, another important thing is we also know that we need different skills for doing this kind of things. It is not just the supply chain managers. We need a lot of data scientists, and the skills that you need might not be available in many companies. So that's again another issue, whether companies want to outsource big data, or whether they want to develop capabilities in-house. So these are all some of the challenges that many companies might be facing these days. If you look at some of the main areas where big data has been impacting a lot, of course, some of these, I think, many of these things, you can look at that they are not directly linked to supply chain. They could be all part of a particular function, and there is a huge scope for integrating different processes to achieve, say, much better, say, impact or much better results. And supply chain, as you know, we have to also integrate processes downstream and upstream. We have to integrate maybe CRM with SCM. How do you integrate the customer relationship management with maybe supply chain management? So this is a huge task. And we have, again, different applications of big data you can see in upstream and downstream. I think this might be very popular, where you see a lot of applications in marketing, such as optimization of price and location-based marketing, then customer micro-segmentation, where you get the insights in a much more granular level, and omni-channel, multi-channel kind of marketing, assortment optimization, lifetime value analysis, to name a few. And when you come to the application of big data analytics in supply chain, again, one can look at maybe the SCORE model, which all of you would be familiar. We talk about source, make, deliver, kind of three important processes in supply chain, and how do you apply big data for different say, processes in supply chain. So I think this sourcing is a process where I think not so much of applications have been reported, but there is huge scope for application of big data analytics and sourcing in areas such as supplier risk analysis, and maybe again sourcing channel options for sourcing, and supplier performance measurement, supplier integration, supplier negotiations, and many of these areas there is a huge scope for big data analytics. So sourcing, then coming to maybe the operations part, there again we hear about a lot of, I think this has been happening. Operation research has helped us a lot. OR, of course, has been there for decades. There we talk about, say, optimization, inventory optimization across the channel or across the supply chain. Then capacity planning, how do you, say, match capacity with demand? So the various capacity planning options. Then location analysis, layout analysis, and workforce analytics. These are all some of the applications that you see in the make process, out of this plan, source, make, deliver process in the supply chain area. And when you come to the logistics or deliver process, again, you have a lot of applications possible, such as distribution, logistics, optimization, transportation alternatives, the routing and scheduling and all. Again, a lot of OR applications have been followed for a long time, vehicle maintenance and such kind of things, where there are applications of, say, big data possible. And the main challenge here is, again, how do you deliver, how do you integrate these functions, the source, make, deliver, along with customer service or along with customer relationship management. I think that could be the major challenge. And when you look at, say, issues in supply chains or issues in big data, of course, a lot of success stories have been reported. Companies find a lot of new insights which they otherwise could not. Maybe if you look at companies such as, say, Walmart, or if you look at companies such as maybe Zara or Target, or various companies which have been successful mainly because of their initiatives in big data. So where Walmart is able to understand, or Walmart is able to predict that the customer would want to stock Pop-Tarts before a hurricane, and they can stock those things in their stores accordingly. So these are some of the insights that which otherwise you wouldn't be able to derive. But at the same time, you also have a lot of, say, hype which may not be actually happening in practice, because one can see that big data is a more observational kind of a data. It is not just like maybe the data that you collect using maybe interviews or surveys and things like that. It is more observational. It is all collected mainly from number of different sources, say sensors and IoT and such kind of things, so which may again have issues with data integrity. Then again, due to that, again, you have a lack of control about data that you have collected, and it only is seemingly complete. It is not complete data most of the time, which again will have issues while you, say, analyze big data for, say, deriving insights. And it's again adapted from third party most of the time. It might not be the company who might be collecting data. It could be all third party information data, which you need to adapt, and also need to merge the different data sets that you have collected from different sources and so on. So these are some of the issues which would have impact on the kind of analysis that you do with the help of big data. And of course, when you try to implement big data analytics in a big way, you may again see this kind of issues in terms of you have huge data, but you do not know what to do with that, in terms of trying to search for needle in a haystack. You have such a huge data, but you do not know what to, say, analyze, or what to look for. And you may think that something might come out of the analysis, and keep doing this, thinking that eventually something will turn out which is going to help you in your business or something. And again, as I said, this again issue of islands of excellence. You have a lot of excellent big data applications happening in different functional areas of supply chain. But once, if that is not linked to the overall business, that may have only, say, limited success. So that's again another issue. And you also understand the, say, issues when you have a lot of proliferation of metrics. You have hundreds of metrics. You're tracking hundreds of metrics, but you have to prioritize them. So you find it very, very difficult to understand which are important for you, which are the ones you should maybe consider them as key performance indicators and so on. And as you all know, again, analysis paralysis, where again you might not know what to do with the data that you have collected. So maybe one can say that it is more good data better than big data. That might be an interesting observation. So to work maybe for big data to work in a better way, it is very, very important to first understand the customer, right? I think that's what the earlier speakers also said. So the competitive priorities will definitely be based on the customer segment that you are targeting. So it is very, very important to identify that customer segment, and then adequately or to define your competitive priorities, whether it is cost or delivery or speed, or whether it is quality, or whether it is flexibility or innovation, or whatever you say. The competitive priorities will have to be identified. Then the alignment that has to happen in terms of the functional areas where it's need to be aligned with the strategic priorities. And at the same time, nothing can work without performance measurement. So if you want to know whether things are working or not, we have to develop strategically aligned key performance indicators. So performance measurement is again one of the major challenges in, say, implementing big data analytics in supply chain management. If you look at the stages of maturity, I think people have already spoken about this. The first stage would be the stage in which you collect data and structure data. I think that's the most important part. Without that, there is no possibility of moving forward. So structuring data in terms of ensuring data quality and cleaning up would be the first step. Then you go to the second stage, where you make sure that data is available at the right time to the right people, and then go to the basic analytics where you talk about descriptive kind of analytics, and then further go to the next stage where you are trying to go to advanced analytics where you get predictive and then kind of prescriptive analytics, and where you have a lot of automated algorithms and things of that kind which can help you to do that. I think this is again something which might be interesting. We start with the same thing, again the maturity model, start with descriptive where it's only just some hindsight, then going to diagnostic analytics in terms of why did it happen or something, and then the predictive might be more in terms of what will happen, and the prescriptive more in terms of how can we make it happen. So how do you move from information to optimization, or information to maybe intelligence or foresight? I think that's what the important thing. So I think that's the various stages. So if many companies try to move directly from maybe the first stage to the last stage, then of course that may not be successful. You have to move in that specific order, then only there is a possibility of maybe achieving success with big data. A lot of companies trying to jump into the bandwagon and might not know what to do. And just to conclude, the major challenges again would be more in terms of leadership, because ultimately for anything of this kind to happen, it is the leadership that drives these kind of initiatives. And for that, again, the talent management, the technology that you have, whether you need to outsource that or whether you need to procure new technology. So you talk about Hadoop and various technology that can help for big data. Then the decision making that you do, and overall the company culture, which might ultimately decide whether the big data initiatives are going to be successful.